la mer qu'on voit danser le long des golfes clairs a des reflets d'argent, la mer, des reflets changeants sous la pluie. La mer, au ciel d'été, confond ses blancs moutons avec les anges si purs. La mer, bergère d'azur infinie.
Who is Ryan Mitchell?
Ryan Mitchell is, Ryan Mitchell is a writer-director here in New York. He is my partner, my boyfriend. We live together, we work together, we run a business together, and it's something I've never done before, is mixing family and business, but it's a really strong relationship because you are able to be together all the time and be able to work through whatever's going on with your actual work together.
Whitney Buxton is my girlfriend who I live with, and she is also my business partner and producing partner, and yeah, she's amazing. I grew up in Orange County, California, Irvine to be exact. Both my parents loved film and television. My dad actually worked at, I forget the name of the company, but they did the credits for television and music videos, and I guess was part of that. Would go to that office and I watched, or they watched rather, the Thriller video before it had been released, which is my dad's claim to fame. He got to see that before anyone else. And then as I got a little bit older, I was introduced to Tim Burton, and he was one of the first people that I was obsessed with. And then my dad, I was a cute little kid, I guess, and they entered me in beauty pageants. My mom didn't like it, but my dad was all about it, and he got my brother and I an agent, or rather a management team that they only took on my brothers because I was so outgoing as a little kid. And that led to headshots, which led to me being one of the finalists for Dennis the Menace. They had 3 kids that they were going to pick from, and I was one of those 3. It was me, the kid that they picked, and some other dude who probably doesn't do anything film related at all. But that was kind of always what I always felt that was the starting point, and my mom ultimately had to say, saying that she didn't want me to turn into some druggie, some Hollywood druggie. So she said she put a stop to it, but I always kind of knew in the back of my mind that I wanted to go back and be an actor, I guess, but I didn't know to what extent. So after going to junior college, I first took a acting class and kind of realized that wasn't necessarily where I wanted to go. And I took my first film class and made this terrible little short set to the music of Postal Service, Such Great Heights. And it's just my friends climbing up a hill in Irvine, basically. And there was something about it that I really liked. And then I did another video not long after, which was to a song that I wrote. And it's kind of goes more into the motifs of filmmaking and stuff. And I had this cinematographer that works with Jerry Bruckheimer as a teacher at that point, and he was like, you don't need to do this anymore. You're good. This is exactly what you need. And I'm like, or you already know how to do it. And I'm like, all right, I guess. But thanks. So those were my first kind of couple experiences, and I just kept going further with it. It just seemed natural. I loved being able to shape images, and and then learning more about cinematography and being able to paint with light, and all those fun things. So my main influences were right away were Fincher and Wes Anderson, and then Michel Gondry as well. Fincher, I love his sense or his taste for darkness, And I mean, like, all his films are really dark, and so are the look of them as well, which was something that attracted me. But he's also always going for something cool, which is also cool. And then Wes Anderson's like playfulness and also Michelle's, like they have that sense of like they're still children, you know, and in all of their films, even though some of their films like tackle a little bit more difficult matters, or like, you know, Wes tends to have some kind of issue with his father, and he's always tackling that through like what I feel like a 17-year-old would be dealing, how a 17-year-old would deal with it. And then later, as I got like kind of more into other filmmakers, 8½, always kind of, and like the films of Fellini have always like really struck me as interesting. So I decided to move to New York from California because I didn't want to go the studio route. I really wanted to be a part of the like new young indie scene that was kind of like happening. You know, Woody Allen obviously has been here for forever, but part of like the mumblecore was happening, and there just seemed to be more freedom within filmmaking in New York. So from what I've seen through my experiences here in New York and Atlanta and in the studios in Hollywood, I mean, granted, I have little experience with the studios, but I've heard that they are very, very controlling, that there's always someone that's from the studio present on your film shoots, and it's always about turning the big dollar, you know, like, but where New York is concerned, it's very much more like there's a larger television industry out here, and then in terms of the independent film, it's like if you can afford it, you do it, or you're able to do it. You know, there's not someone that's like leaning over your shoulder, like going, I don't know if this is gonna make us any money. It's they know that it's not gonna make them any money, so they're just letting you do it because it's basically usually your dollar anyways.
What is Paper Dreams?
So Paper Dreams is the first feature that I wrote and will be directing. I'm also going to be the cinematographer, doing a little bit of Robert Rodriguez style of doing everything basically. But it's a cute, quirky comedy about two people who find romance on the New York subways. And through their like love interests, they spark a paper-mache world. So we raised about $20,000 on Kickstarter. It was a unique experience, absolutely, and I definitely think for independent filmmaking, it's the best way to go. Because not only does it build in a crowd, an audience already, it helps you fund your film. And it's kind of like what this whole like social media world has kind of been building towards, right? It's like direct contact with your audience, and if you can, you give them basically what they're paying for, then it's, I don't know, it was unique and special, and it's just so amazing to see. Like I reached out to everyone that I know, and to see their support from all those people, some people who I haven't spoken to since high school, like show their support, and it's, I don't know, it's really touching to be able to like show them works that I do and like show them what I care about, and then to be able to support me in that. So I think it's something that like all independent filmmakers should always look to, because this is how you can get it done. As an independent film director or producer, I would love to see Paper Dreams go the whole way, like get distribution nationwide. Like that's, I mean, ultimately the goal. What do I see it actually doing? I feel like we'll definitely do a festival run and get some distribution. Like, it's rare that you get like Garden State or Napoleon Dynamite, especially on that first feature. But you know, it's my dream, so why not shoot for the stars?
Tous les garçons et les filles de mon âge se promènent dans la rue de pas deux.
I grew up in Ridgewood, New Jersey. It's right outside of the city, just north of the George Washington Bridge. My first introduction on the entertainment industry was I worked on a short film that a best friend wrote and directed, and he and I were basically the bare bones crew. And we were 19, but from that point on, that's when I changed my major and I went straight in a straight course to wanting to learn more about film and what it meant to be on set and what it meant to learn about film theory and having to negotiate which one was better for me. My biggest influences as I started branching out into the film world, in terms of a director, I thought like Quentin Tarantino was just the coolest ever. Everything he did, I couldn't get enough of it. But I really looked towards my peers that I was learning with and seeing what they were doing and what interests them. Because I really just wanted to make things. I wanted to be there creating things with my friends. I think choosing the difference between New York and California and choosing to stay in New York, being from here, was I don't necessarily see myself as becoming big in Hollywood. I don't necessarily want to follow the role of a blockbuster producer. I feel much more comfortable making indies or working on documentaries, and I felt like New York's community has that more of a sensibility of working close-knit groups together and being able to create small, interesting projects. The film industry has evolved huge amount since the Hollywood era days, and having been a part of what was going on in Atlanta, I could see that it's really becoming something that people, if there's something you want to make and something that you love, it's becoming much more possible. I mean, even tax incentives from different states. In Vermont, when I was in college, we all were trying to make something up there because the state wanted to bring it, and now Louisiana. I mean, I think that we're at a point now where small independent filmmakers are able to do what they want to do because the tools are there and the cameras are there, and it's becoming more feasible to make something. Paper Dreams is a feature film written by Ryan Mitchell, directed by Ryan Mitchell. It's just the most magical little love story I've ever read, to the point where I still cry every time I get to the ending. But it's just a unique New York love story, and it's a nice way to experience a relationship with these two characters. When Ryan and I got together, he let me read the script, and there was every bone in my body wanted to be a part of this. So graciously, the other producers and Ryan invited me to join their team, and I have, since September, been working as hard as I can to make this dream a reality.
How did you two meet?
We met in Atlanta, Georgia, on his first feature film that he was DPing, and I was the assistant director. Kind of the night I showed up in Atlanta, he welcomed me into the house, took me on a tour, and we've been together ever since. We got back in September, and I moved in. Being in business with a person that you're dating and working with every day, day in and day out, it's a unique challenge in the sense that you have to find pockets of personal time and pockets of business time and being able to balance those. But I think it's a stronger relationship in both aspects because we do know each other through and through how they feel about work and life, but I'm getting awkward. For me, it's easier living with him because we are able to compartmentalize the business and the personal, and it feels more comfortable.
I have a question for you. Have you ever lost anyone special to you?
You mean like a girlfriend?
No, I mean like in your family.
Yeah, I have. Have you?
Yeah, I have. My great-grandmother.
Were you close?
Yeah, we were really close. I I used to go and stay at her house, and she would always make me these delicious pies. And we would stay up late and play cards. She taught me how to play speed. You know how to play speed?
I think so.
I could totally kick your ass.
Probably.
I remember the day that my mom told me she died. I think I cried for 3 days straight.
How old were you?
8. I was a very dramatic 8-year-old. Oh, she was so amazing. She was so funny and full of life. I feel so lucky to have had her. Who did you lose?
The one that was important to me was my Grandpa Jack. My dad died when I was a kid. My mom's dad moved in. He kind of raised me. He would always tell me these stories about his worldly travels and how he was always getting into trouble all over the world. He smoked Marlboro Reds. Very cool. He was so American. He drove a truck and fixed stuff. He had a terrible relationship with my uncle. He loved me and my mom to death.
How did he pass away?
Lung cancer. The last time I saw him, he asked me if I were to be a color, what color would I rather be, yellow or orange?
Which one did you pick?
Orange.
Is that the right answer?
There is no right answer, of course, but when I said orange, a big grin stretched across his face, and he said, "That's my boy."
Wait, what does orange mean?
You know, I never asked.
Tous les garçons et les filles de mon âge savent bien ce que c'est qu'être heureux. Et les yeux dans les yeux.